Okay, spirits like the wind. YAHAWASHI is coming back. First and foremost, we're going to start off by giving all praises and honor and glory to
Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Kakadash.
All right, double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and have taught us His word in truth and sincerity. And peace and mercy to the whole full elect. All right, starting with 124,000. That's pushing His truth and pushing His word in truth and sincerity. Okay, across the four corners of the earth. And peace and mercy to the rest of the whole full elect. All right, that sincerely believe. Okay, so hey man, if you're tapping into the spirit, you should be extremely excited, extremely inspired, because everything that, starting with Apostle Dahar on down to the rest of the apostles and bishops and elders and the rest of the brothers have been talking about, and we've been teaching, is playing out right before our eyes. You know, above the fact that we are a part of prophecy, waking up from the dead and teaching this word, but we're seeing this war with Iran and the state of Israel, okay, escalate. You know, we know that the least of the flock should draw them out.
I got it.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
This is Jeremiah 49:20 KJV. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that He hath taken against Edom, and His purposes that He hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely He shall make their habitations desolate with them.
Right, and you know, Trump's trying to play the quote-unquote good guy. You know, I'm trying to warn these guys. I told them they got to do this, they got to do that. You know, whatever happens is on them. But we know according to prophecy, you're gonna be dragged in. All right, the United States of America will be dragged in.
The mesh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. The United States of America will be dragged into war. Okay, and when you look at Iran and you look at the state of Israel, you gotta also think about the allies. Russia, China. These are major countries. Major countries. The United States of America, that is going to culminate World War III. Now, before World War III, the micro C hit. So if this is popping off like this, how much closer are we to the MOTD? All right, and all these devils need is the threat of global war to bring in so-called global peace or security, which we know that's going to be the microchip. All right, you got riots. They turn from peaceful protests to riots. It hasn't even been, I think tomorrow will be 7 days, but it went from, you know, peaceful protests. Now you got 700 Marines being pushed out there.
Yeah, deployed.
Deployed out there. So we're in some exciting times, man.
Yeah, which the what is that? EA Sports, whichever game that is that made Modern Warfare. Right, that's prophecy as well, right? These different games, they let you know that's something.
Oh yeah.
Me and the elder used to play, but in Modern Warfare, the soldiers were in the cities. They weren't deployed abroad; they were deployed in your cities.
There was one called urban warfare.
Urban warfare, yeah. So that's what you people have to prepare
I think it was
for.
Activision.
Yeah, Infinity Ward and Activision, yeah. Treyarch.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Call of Duty. Regardless.
Yeah, man. So
But it's a chain event because now you also have the potential of sleeper cells being activated in America. Because Iran is being antagonized, right? And pretty much they could activate those sleeper cells in America.
Yeah.
Right.
Which would further cause the insurrection of America.
That's right.
Right? Contribute.
Yeah.
You see it right now with what you mentioned with the protests.
Yeah.
That are turning into pretty much
Riots.
and chaos.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right, that's a little thing cooking, but on the major scale, it's those sleeper cells, man. There's people that have entered America all those years. The border was just open.
Yeah.
Right? So that's hey man.
Yeah.
So with with a cyber attack.
Yeah. That's right.
You know, the like you said, the MOTB and World War III, it's a teeter-totter.
Right.
Right. So we know that World War III is not going to happen before the hour temptation.
That's right. Yeah.
The hour temptation has to take hold on the entire planet first, right? So that's cutting you off from your transactions, your bills, everything that you own, so-called own, right? That has to get cut off.
That's right.
You got something?
Yeah, I got some real quick. This is Matthew 24, and we're basically living in this time right now. So obviously, the beginning of it is history as it played out, but it's twofold. So this is Matthew 24, and let me start at 16. It says, "Let them which be in Judea flee to the mountaintops. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to his clothes."
Yeah, and who see that was back then. Now we're in this time, and we were telling you and prepping you people what to do for the time that you're in now. And the number one thing not to do is don't take the MOTB. But there's different things that we told you people that were going to happen through the spirit of YAHAWASHI through our elder apostles of GMS, right on down.
That's
But
right.
you people never took heed. So now you're going to find out that nothing happens in this world unless it was prophesied.
That's right.
Everything that happens in the world, it plays out through prophecy. That's all you are. You people are all just living in prophecy. You're not, the majority of you people in the world, you're not even major actors in this this role, in this movie called life.
Character number 40.
You're just drifting.
Yeah. Yep.
Because in this world, they have something called main character syndrome. They think they're somebody,
And they're nobody.
and they're nobody.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the vanity.
Right.
You know? And you people have been decaying ever since. Ever since we came on the highways in Toronto, ever since the apostles, you have been decaying more and more into lewdness.
Yeah.
You know, so at the height of oh shit, I should see what's going on. You're the most lazy,
Right.
you know, feeble-minded
Right.
that you can be, degenerate,
Yeah.
sloppy, you know, drunk, really drunk.
Yeah.
You're the most drunk right now, so you can't really, you know, when you're drunk
Yeah.
and you think you know something's happening, but you
Yeah.
don't know what the hell's happening.
Yeah.
That's how you people are.
Yeah.
And that's scary, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They show you that in the Purge, how Jake was acting, and one of the newer Purge movies, Jake was partying and bullshitting. You know what I mean? So that's the mindset of Jake when all hell's breaking loose. Like I'm still looking for a good time, no matter
Right.
what.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Useful idiots, yeah?
Yep. I'm going to jump into the NLT. It says verse 21, jump down 21, Matthew 24 and 21. "For there will be great anguish than at any time since the world began, and it will never be so great again. In fact, unless that time of calamity is shortened, not a single person will survive." And then the King James says the elect. So it says flesh. Yeah.
So was that World War II? You know what I mean? People think, oh, World War II, that's the great, that's the biggest thing. That will never happen again. No. World War III is coming, man.
That's right.
But after World War III, that's it.
Yeah.
There will be no other war like that.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean?
That's right.
And what, so like it.
No, go ahead.
World War II wasn't too long ago. A lot of people think, you know what I mean? It was only like, what, 1946 when it finished? Like
80 years ago.
80 years ago. One generation ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These people don't consider that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's it.
We're past due for a world war because World War I was like 1917 in time period,
Yeah.
1910, 1920.
1920. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so it was like 30, 40 years from World War II.
Yeah.
We're past due.
Yeah.
Really and truly, you know what I mean? Like,
And you know what's
So
funny
It's
about that?
borrowed time.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
borrowed time.
yeah, exactly.
Because
Yeah.
it says the third will come quickly.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Con.
Yeah. So.
No, you're good.
I have that precept if I may read it.
No, let it
I was
let
just
him
gonna
finish.
say,
Yeah.
I was gonna say the Lord's speeding up the days, so it does come quickly.
Yes.
He's shortening the days. He's shortening the days, right?
Yep.
So like, go ahead.
Yep. It says, but it will be shortened for the sake of YAHAWASHI's chosen ones.
Yeah, it's not going to be like Book of Eli. The Book of Eli was based after the war. We're not going to be walking around with a backpack after the destruction happened.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
First of all, there's not going to be anything in America.
Yeah.
America is going to be a big dust bowl.
Yeah.
You know, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. That's right. The scripture says, 1 Peter, fervent heat
Yeah.
shall melt the elements.
That's right.
And the reason why it has to be quick as well, because we can't survive long
No.
with everybody who has the MOTB. We won't be. We're gonna be good right? Whoever the Lord blesses, but to have, let's say the Lord allows the MOTB to last for 10 years. That's too long.
Yeah, we'll be
Way
done.
too long.
That's too long, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Go ahead. You have something you want to bring up real quick?
Hold on, just a
I'm gonna
precept.
go through the chapter.
Real quick, Revelation 9 and 12. I'm going to read from verse 11, right? Because verse 11 goes into the history. And we're seeing prophecy in regards to this thing that they're talking about. No kings, you people are saying.
Yep.
So I'm going to read verse 11 and 20 and 12. It says, and they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew, the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue, hath his name Apollyon. And then here's the point: one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes. Right, more hereafter. Right, so yes, we are getting ready for that third woe. See, I just wanted to emphasize that real quick, because you people out there, man, you have no clue. We're speaking to the elect, not you useful idiots. So
Yeah, because the third woe also correlates with the second death, right? Because that second death is going to be by fire. You people, or this world was drowned before. Now you're going to be drowned with fire. That's why it's known as the lake of fire. But you people don't know how to put one and two together. You actually think it's going to be a war of the Most High and Satan. It doesn't work like that, man.
Right.
Satan is the wicked. Job 9 and 24. You're the adversary of the Most High. Everything that the Most High says to do, you say, no, I'm going to do the opposite. So that makes you you're an adversary to nature. You're an adversary to life. You were created to be death, and you did that. You did that well.
That's right.
You're an enemy to the planet.
You're an enemy to the planet.
Even with the solar technology, he still finds a way to destroy the planet.
That's crazy.
You know? the windmills, all that shit.
It's killing birds. The windmills kill birds.
It kills birds, but even to when they break and shit, they can't really biodegrade. So there's like landfills with them. Especially
Yes.
batteries. A lot of bad
Right.
Teslas and shit.
Yeah.
There's fields of batteries. So you can't. That's why the fire has to come.
That's right.
Certain parts of the earth, the fire
That's right.
has to burn up everything.
That's right.
You know? And the planet's gonna look different. Because it says islands shall move away.
Yeah.
So probably things will look a little different.
Yeah.
A new earth, right? Yeah.
It did look different after the flood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, going back here, Matthew 24 and 22.
Oh,
Yeah, 22. It says, so in fact, unless that time of calamity is shortened, not a single person will survive, but it will be shortened for the sake of YAHAWASHI IS chosen ones. Then, if anyone tells you, look, here is the Messiah, or there he is, don't believe it. And that is so much more prominent now when you see AI. Because there's this one video I saw, and it was going through a bunch of videos of AI generated prompts. You had one with a news reporter, and then another one with a news reporter, and a chariot came out of the water. And if you didn't know the breakdowns, that's why it's so important to understand the breakdown of this truth. If you don't know that, you're gonna see it and believe it and run with it. You know what I mean? So when we're reading the scripture and you're seeing AI development, this devil, know that what he's showing us isn't what he has perfected. And as to what he's showing us, is perfecting itself too. Things looking real, it's looking very real. That's why the scriptures also talk about hold fast to what you've been taught. A lot of you out there are jumping from camp to camp and you're just confusing yourself because when all hell breaks loose, you're not going to know what to believe. Which ultimately will lead you to take the micro CHIP, the MOTB.
yeah. Do you ever see a baby sucking on multiple mothers' titties?
There you go.
When you're a baby, you have one mother. You suck on that titty like your life depends on it, because it does. You don't go from titty to titty.
That's right.
No camp has ever been able to say they have the 100% truth side of what our apostles and elders on down. All right. They can't confidently say that. IUIC never said it, and the rest of the other camps, they never said it. You know?
That's right. And it says, then if anyone tells you, look, here is the Messiah, or there he is, don't believe it, right? You got the third temple, you guys want to build the third temple, and with these strikes with Iran, it's going to be convenient because to build up the third temple, they want to build it up in the same area where the Dome of the Rock is, right? So once that place is leveled, destroyed, or whatever, they build up the so-called third temple, and with Esau's technology, if AI looks this real, if AI looks this real on screen, imagine what the hologram's gonna look like in person.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
And you're not. I mean, I'm just thinking you're probably not gonna be able to go into the temple see what's going on.
Yeah.
Because it's all about an illusion.
Right.
You're gonna hear voices and whatnot. So.
Well, they showed you that's like in that Spider-Man movie, all right, Home Away from Home, with Mysterio, right? With a Mysterio guy. Brothers ever seen that movie? And he was doing a whole bunch of holograms. And if you know anything about that nemesis of Spider-Man, Mysterio, he does a whole bunch of sorcery, witchcraft, holograms type shit, and it appears real. You know what I mean? So he's already showed us that he's gonna do this.
Which that magic goes back to the Egyptians.
Right.
They had illusions. That's all mystery.
Right.
You know, so-called magic tricks.
Right.
You know, it's all going back to what magic is.
I can't remember.
Then they had
Can't remember.
they were working with blue lotus.
Yes.
Yeah, they were working with certain herbs that are psychedelic.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why this guy, that thing called peyote, you can get in the desert.
Yeah, that's
Southwest
big right
desert,
now. It's big right now.
Right, the last 5-6 years, it's blown up.
Yeah.
This guy, Alistair Crowley, he was heavy into that.
Yeah.
He would take peyote, and it would break down the door of the spiritual realm.
And it
So
does.
he could Talk to,
Yeah.
talk to spirits.
Con.
But everyone's on this. Oh, you should try it, man.
Mhm.
You know, you're gonna heal your traumas and all this shit. No, you're just opening
Portals that can never be
You
closed.
know, and that's,
That's right.
Even in Toronto, whatever, you see like these different mushroom
yeah.
spots, like
It's
microdosing.
You can
and,
buy
you know,
them.
yeah, you can get it, whatever. They call it microdosing. You know, whatever.
They have one called the toad. It's an extract from a toad
Yes.
that secretes a certain acid or something like that. It's psychedelic.
Yeah.
Tyson, he talked about it. He's a demon.
Yeah.
So all these different things, you don't need any of that. You know, when the Lord opens your mind, it's otherworldly.
Yeah.
You know,
It says, verse 24. It says, for false messiahs, right, saviors, people who claim to have the answer, your preppers, your false teachers, and false prophets.
you have that bugged out guy. He's saying he was Yahweh.
Oh yeah.
Who said that?
Bugged out nigga.
Yeah, some bugged out guy.
Crazy.
Yeah. It says, and false prophets will rise up.
Yeah, people saying, "Oh, I'm King David."
Yeah.
That's a big
I remember that one.
Yeah, that was
Big
pretty
one.
good.
You know, people periodically they just come with that.
Yeah.
I'm King David.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
why can't you be Joshua?
I just did a video on a guy that says, "Oh, God sent him with a message to give to Trump about how he can get peace." Madness.
Yeah, these people have no idea what's coming down the pipe, bro.
Satan sent them that message.
It says, false messiahs and false prophets will rise up and perform great signs and wonders so as to deceive, if possible, even YAHAWASHI Is chosen ones. Just look at AI, man. Look at AI, look at, think about holograms, and meditate on the fact that if you didn't have this understanding, you would believe this.
That's why 2 Corinthians 2:11 says we are not ignorant of Satan's devices.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
So Esau's a sorcerer, man. You know, enchanter.
It says, see, I have warned you about this ahead of time. He did it back then, and he's doing it through the prophets this time. Okay? So if someone tells you, look, the Messiah is out in the desert, don't bother to go and look, or look, he is hiding there, don't believe it.
And you know why? Because when YAHAWASHI comes, he's coming to destroy.
Right.
So we can't be like, oh, he's over there chilling. We can go talk to him. Talk to him about what?
Exactly.
When he comes back, he's coming back to shed blood. So you waiting for him, or you telling us, oh yeah, let's say they do a hologram and they're like, oh my gosh, it's the second coming and he's here and he's bringing peace, or he's no, he's not coming to talk.
That's right.
When he comes back, he's not going to converse
Yeah.
with nobody.
I shall not meet thee as a man.
That's right.
That's
He uses more words.
I got a piece of that.
Diplomatic meeting.
Yeah, it's not a diplomatic meeting.
Go ahead, brother.
This is Luke chapter 21 verse 8, and he said, take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, Mashiach, I should say, and the time draweth near, go ye not therefore after them. But when he shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass.
Right.
But the end is not by end.
Hey, and the reason why you're seeing a lot of false messiahs as well is because, remember, everybody always thinks that they can do your job, right? When you were a kid and you saw Jordan, you thought you could be Jordan. When you saw Kobe, you thought you could be Kobe. But people forget that people are born with gifts. Everybody has their own particular gifts that they're chosen for. Michael Jackson was chosen to be Michael Jackson, right? And the brothers who are actually doing this work in truth and sincerity are chosen to do this. You pastors, you this, you that, you weren't chosen, but you think you could do what we do. So a lot of you just become mockingbirds because you see the power that comes with it, and you just try to monetize the truth.
Right.
That's it.
Just like that one guy who saw Peter perform the works.
Yeah.
And he tried to pay for it. He's like, if I give you this many shekels, can I get the same power?
There's a word for that. What's that word for that? When they try to buy, yeah, there's a word for it.
Yeah. So it's not spiritual, man. And a lot of you can't help the fact that you don't have
Lucre's
it.
sake.
Filthy lucre sake.
Yeah, kind of.
A lot of you can't help the fact that you don't have the truth. So you have to kind of make up your own thing to really rest your own mind. Because as prophecy plays out, you're going to know, like Apostle Hara always says, especially when that MOTV plays out, that's going to be a major shakeup because a lot of people are not saying it's a microchip. And even those that are saying it's a microchip are going to take it anyways.
But after you find out that you were wrong, you have to say to yourself, the Most High has not been dealing with me.
Yeah.
Once certain things come to light, you literally have to come to the conclusion that the Heavenly Father, through His Son YAHAWASHI, has not been dealing with you. And that's what a lot of you guys don't understand when you follow these fake people. You follow these fake men, and then when you find out certain things about them, you forgive them. But you can't forgive them. You just have to say to them, the Heavenly Father is not working through you.
That's it.
He never was.
Yeah.
You're not somebody who we should follow.
Yeah. That's right.
That was it.
But yeah, that was it. But I could jump down a little bit and read a little bit more. This is verse 20. It says, and when he shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Right? And that was a prophecy of 70 AD.
Yeah.
But guess what? We're living in Jacob's trouble again. This is going to be completely different, right? Because what's going to happen is that they're going to come into your neighborhoods to actually get you to put something into your body, just like they did 5 years ago.
Yeah.
They did the same thing,
Yeah.
right? But this time they're not going to do it with fake gimmicks. They're going to do it by, well, they'll start off with
You
the fake
remember
gimmicks.
Fauci? He went to it was Philly. It was the hood, Judah. He went
Oh.
around door to door.
Yeah.
He was trying to
Salesman.
yeah, trying to
Oh,
with
yeah.
the
Yeah, with the
Joke.
Cook.
and then what was the saying that Bill Gates and Melinda, they said
You
blacks,
have to get them
Native
first,
Americans,
Hispanics.
they're the most
Oh yeah, get them.
needed or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Needed
yeah.
blacks and the natives.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
You know?
They needed the most.
yeah.
I
Well,
remember.
slack brother. Well, when you're reading that, read that again, Bubble Show, real quick.
Verse 20, this is Luke 21, verse 20. And when he shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Right. So you got to be spiritual because we know that Jerusalem's a people before it's a place. The northern tribe are being compassed with armies right now,
That's right.
and that's going to further out to Judah as well.
And that's
the
what,
southern tribe.
you know, right now, the wildfires in Manitoba and Saskatchewan,
Right.
a lot of people, a lot of the Gadites are being displaced. They're in, some of them are in hotels in certain parts of Niagara Falls and certain parts of Ontario, because you know Esau is doing these wildfires. It's all deliberate.
Yeah, yeah,
It's deliberate
yeah.
to displace them, and basically eventually
Set up smart
everything
cities.
what's going on right now, you know, like with this whole thing with the
The ICE?
no, in Los Angeles with the whole
Yeah.
protests and whatever of the ICE, the ICE,
Yeah.
however, it's all going down to like the whole the mark of the beast, because it's all winding down. Like
Yeah,
so
that's
much
right.
things is
Yeah.
going on,
Yeah.
like, and it's affecting the northern tribes. So a lot of our people, they're very rebellious. They worship Caesar Borgia, you know.
Yeah.
So so like that's why they're getting their judgment,
Yes,
and they wonder why things is happening. It's because they're not worshiping the Heavenly Father.
That's
right.
We're telling them who they are,
Right.
and they're not listening to us. They're saying we're crazy and bums and stuff.
And it's like they know where to start the narrative to push on the people. They started over there in LA. Why they chose that not province but that city
State.
out of all state
State,
out of all
yeah.
states, they chose over there, and then the police were vandalizing their own cruisers and putting it in the streets because they're forwarding like they're
Agent
Yeah,
provocateurs.
they're you know, they're putting pamphlets, throwing, oh, this is what you do when you get into a riot, how to
Incite it.
incite the riots and
more
get
violence.
them.
Well, hey,
Round
you
it
know,
up, right?
those agent provocateurs, a brother was watching, you know how much they get paid to do what they do? They get
Yeah.
paid like 12 grand a week.
Yeah,
But
good money.
They've had that from all those Black Rock protest.
Black-
BLM?
Antifa, BLM.
Oh, yeah, BLM, yeah.
With the masks, they
Yes.
come and they fuck shit up
Yep,
to try to stir people up.
that's right.
You know, there's been ads on Craigslist, man.
Yeah,
They've
yeah,
been shown for years.
yeah.
Wow, I didn't see
You know?
that.
Yeah,
Like
12,
years
12
ago.
racks a week, man.
Wow. I
Now
was
they're paying more, but
Yeah.
before,
Yeah, yeah.
inflation, brother.
yeah. I just have to make a quick point because you mentioned the Manitoba fires, right? And Toronto having like the worst air quality ever since.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was happening, and like I don't know what brothers here or whatever. I've had experience like migraines based off of that. The air quality's been so shit. You know what I mean? So Esau's working his witchcraft right now, man. You know?
It's another thing to push the climate change, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
To tax you,
Right.
or to lock you down,
Lock you down.
push people away from the bushes,
Yeah.
Yes.
or
Yes.
or push them away and then build up that smart
That
town or
area,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they can go back, or they just move into the big city. Say
Yes.
it's not safe here. If you hear this happens,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's so right. Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
closing off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want everybody.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of people
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Manitoba, Northern Ontario,
Yeah.
even it's affecting the people in Northern Ontario too.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. I've been up there far, like 23 hours drive up north. I've been up there.
A lot of them
You know what
are
I mean?
Gadites up there.
Close to Manitoba, whatever.
Thunder
You know what I
Bay.
mean? Yeah.
They don't know that?
No, there's more. It says, verse 21, it says, then let them which are in Judea, flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that
That's what's
all
happening.
things.
That's what's happening right now. You know, people are being displaced. You know.
Yup.
So all hell's breaking loose, man. The Lord's doing this.
Everything is being fulfilled. It says that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
Yeah, and our message is that there's nothing that you can do. The only thing that you can do is not take the MOTB and just trust in YAHAWASHI that you can be delivered. Because there's going to be nowhere to run.
Exactly. We're just flesh and blood. Yeah. day.
The only message is brace for impact.
Just brace
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Every Sunday.
Yeah, strap your seatbelts.
And right from the rocky ride.
Fuck, yeah.
That's it.
Let YAHAWASHI take the wheel,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's it. It says, verse 23, but woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
Hey, a small example of that, just a small one, is you got there were 6 babies that were born with the measles over here in Ontario, right? And they came out with measles. They were born with measles.
Wow.
Right? And they were born of women who didn't take the poison, the serpent juice.
Wonder why.
Right? So it says, woe, right? To them who give suck in that day. And then rightfully so, because the judgment is coming. All these events are playing out before your eyes, and people are doing what? Partying, bullshitting, marrying, giving into marriage. And the Lord also says in 2nd Ezra that the more He brings these judgments, and the more people deck themselves, pretty themselves, and focus on themselves, the more angry He's gonna get. That makes so much sense. You're disciplining your child, and they're laughing at you. Aren't you gonna want to hit them even harder?
Yeah.
To make sure they stop laughing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, or whatever it is. So this is, and the Most High is setting you up that way because He wants to fulfill all His wrath, all of it. So He's gonna build you up, fatten up the calf, you know, so that He can completely administer His indignation, His righteous judgment, His righteous anger. So, and it's funny because you got missiles getting shot from Iran to state of Israel, and people are not even. They're just.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, the Most High is fattening the calf, man.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I'm saying. At the height of this,
Yeah.
people are so degenerate.
Yeah, they didn't even.
Remember, because they're used to this high lifestyle,
Yes.
modern
yes.
amenities. You know what I mean? Like, bro, even indoor plumbing, that's a big thing. You know, like all these different amenities that we have that we're used to.
Yes.
You don't have to go outside to shed or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
wake up
yeah.
in the morning,
Shower,
go out there, do
yeah.
this, do that. People are just fattened, and what does the scripture say about Babylon the Great? She's a virgin.
Well,
She decked herself. You know,
Right.
pretty much.
Yeah.
But he's showing you the filth, right?
Yeah.
The decaying,
Yeah.
right? At the height of your rule, you start to decay.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a trick bag most out of you.
Yeah.
I read this last verse. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations.
Yeah.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Yep. And we know that's prophetic to that land.
That's right.
That's who. So those people who are living in that land, they're heathens.
The Gentiles.
Yeah. Gentiles.
Have a precept?
Uh.
Joel 3:9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Right. So the Gentiles. I looked on the blue letter for the word Gentile. It's Goy or Goya, or a nation. Stop there. Sorry. Prepare. Yeah. Prepare. Prepare. Just was
Yeah, go ahead.
holding it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. It says to call out, recite, read, cry out, proclaim.
That's prepared.
To call, yeah,
Prepared. The word prepared.
yeah,
Okay.
proclaim. So to call out, recite, read, right? So we're reading them like their judgment on these heathens.
Yeah, that's powerful because the
Yeah.
scriptures say the Lord's words will not come back to him void. So the very simple fact that we're prophesying about war is the Lord calling them to war.
That's right.
To call, cry, utter a loud song. To call out, cry for help. Call with the name of God or Yahweh. To proclaim, to read aloud, to read oneself. So this is what we do. We're reading, we're going on the highways and byways, we're doing our videos, you know. So
This truth
Yeah.
is making
for
the world.
every day.
Yeah, it's making the world turn, man.
That's right.
yes.
This truth, all these events that are playing out, is because the Lord has woken up the prophets, and He's using them to speak His word to basically make events happen. Because this is magic. This is power. This is
Remember
magic,
because
this is power.
like when we're from 2009, like we started this whole walk, you know, and people thought we're crazy, you know, we're wasting our time. But look what's happening, man.
That's right.
You know, people, you know, so we're not crazy anymore.
That's right.
That's right.
To proclaim, to read aloud, read to oneself, read, to summon, invite, call for, call and commission, appoint, call and endow. But it says, proclaim this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So this whole thing with Israel and Iran, you know, like this thing it's been brewing for years.
Yeah.
You know, a long time.
Wow.
That's
You
right.
know, because I remember like when we started, 2009. You know, Israel was going back and forth with Iran. You know, so long time. Yeah, but that Ahmadinejad. You know, so a lot of things is happening, man, and this is gonna lead to Armageddon. You know, Ezekiel 38. You know, where Russia is gonna come and like be the bear.
Captain of the Medes.
So a lot of things is happening. And let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up. Beat your plowshare into sword, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. So you know, this is what they did, because before they were more like agricultural, like countries, farmers and stuff. But after World War II, these other nations started, you know, to invest in nuclear arms. You know?
Especially Iran.
Yeah.
Iran's been bullied for years, pushed around, not doing anything about it.
Sanction.
Now they're mining uranium,
Yeah.
tons of it, and Trump saying, listen, we cannot have nuclear weapons. This ain't left for you.
Yeah.
Let the weak say I'm strong. So what is that? The Most High is putting a spirit in these kings to fulfill His word.
That's right.
Even
it's Amalek's like Amalek pulling the strings to tell Trump to say that.
Yeah,
Because pretty much you know who controls America.
yeah.
Everything.
I remember Iran has been sanctioned and still
Yeah.
being sanctioned,
Thriving.
even from
They're still
Canada,
thriving.
even from Canada being sanctioned.
Yeah.
Not even to say from America only, but from even Canada.
All
A
the Western
lot of
countries.
Iranians can't get things sent in and out of Iran from Canada to Iran, and just to get certain things like their money from back home to here to Canada, all these things, they give them a hard time just to get little small things because they're still sanctioned.
Even right now, the
Right
whole
now.
thing with Trump with the tariffs is
Mhm.
affecting the world,
Yeah.
right? And it's affecting America, you know, China, you know, a lot of things is going on. Assemble yourself, come all ye heathen, and gather yourself together round about. Thither, cause thy mighty one to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of YAHAWASHI. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
Yeah, in the Hebrews, Yahweh Shabbat, which means the valley of decision, the place where the Lord is going to judge, right, over there by the Persian Gulf, right? That's where he's going to gather all those troops. So I see that place is very volatile and very heated. The river Euphrates is dried up, so the troops can come over there, right? So really, to the elect, the hopeful elect out there, we're close. We're so close. Right, so even more so now than ever, you gotta tap into the spirit.
Yeah, 'cause I remember when we're probably like 10, 15 years ago, the whole thing in Syria, and that war in Syria was brutal, man. You know, so when Israel's gonna be destroyed through nuclear fire, man, it's gonna, you know, that place is gonna be flattened, man. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe, and come, get you down, for the press is full, the fat overflow, for their wickedness is great.
Yes, so these people are at their most decadent, they're decaying. You know, like that movie, one of my favorite movies, Seven, right? About 7 deadly sins. You know, like you have to think, like stuff in your face in this kingdom, that's a luxury, that's a joy,
Yeah.
that's a, you know, cool activity,
Yeah.
but that's a sin.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
actually a sin.
Yeah, you're right.
Overstuffing yourself is gluttony.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Lord-
how they
the
make
Lord
their
doesn't
money.
like that. You
That's
know?
how they make their money.
So even something as small as that, slothfulness,
Yeah.
laziness,
Yeah.
you know. So that's what these people are occupied in, man. Rapid dopamine hits and, you know, short attention span.
Yeah.
Man,
It's
it's-
instant
instant gratification. It's wicked, man.
and it makes sense why the
Yeah.
scriptures say that these people's hearts shall wax cold because they're gonna bug the hell out, man. They're gonna be looking for that, and they're not gonna find it. So that's what's gonna lead, and then the Most High is gonna send demons on them to further, you know. his
That's
vengeance.
why that scripture is in Isaiah 13. It says, "I will make a man more precious than fine gold." Because when all hell's breaking loose, the only people that's going to be of value
Yeah.
is the elect.
That's right.
These women and these 2/3, man, like they're not going to be able to
Stand in
that partake.
Mm-hmm.
Of the righteousness of the kingdom, man. Multitude and multitude in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. So their whole, their astrologers, their witches and warlocks, these high-level witches, man. The Council of 13, and that they do all these their wicked sacrifices, man. And they call upon demons and stuff, man. The demon's not gonna answer. But the Baphomet's not gonna answer.
Turn on them.
The Lord shall roar out of Zion, and his voice from Jerusalem, and the heaven and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. So we're the ones, like we're the monument. Zion means monument, and that's the elect, is the monument.
That's
man.
right.
Which goes into memory.
Yeah.
The elect of the prophets are the one bringing back the memory of the Lord. Is one is named because the world doesn't know the Lord.
Yeah.
Right? After the Lord destroyed Egypt, that known area knew Yahweh. Right? So we're like ushers. We're ushering in the Heavenly Father and His Son. That's why the elect are known as a monument, the monument of Israel, of Zion. Because we're bringing that remembrance back. Is there more on that?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Let me get this. Both of you guys said about how these people are going to be ashamed, right? So this is Wisdom of Solomon, and I'm going to start at it's chapter 5. Let's start at 2. I'll start at 1. I got it in the GNT. It says, "On that day, someone righteous, some people righteous, full of confidence, will stand before those who oppress them and made light of their labors. They will be amazed to see them safe and will tremble with terrible fear. Then they will regret what they did, and groaning in anguish, they will say to each other, 'This is the one we made fun of. We thought he was a joke. What fools we were. We thought he was crazy to live the way he did.'"
Yeah, because you people think that slavery is negative. Slavery is not negative. You're not breaking the law when you have slaves. It's what you do with your slaves. You Edomites are filthy and degenerate, right? We're coming and we're bringing out your filth, right? Even our own filth, right?
Yeah.
You Negroes that hang on to slavery, you get mad. Oh yeah, we were slaves. You put it. Somebody's got to be a slave.
That's right.
And when it says, though he was crazy to live, thought he was crazy to live with the way he did, and when he died, we didn't honor him. And now, here he is, one of Yahweh Bashar Yahshua's own children.
And we're dying right now, right? And you people are not honoring us, meaning that you're not helping us. We could be maybe we never ate, maybe we're not clothed. Like you people don't care.
Shelter.
We die every day, right? So we die every day because hey, we're out here, we're doing this work. But guess what? You people are not looking at us like, hey, we gotta protect these men. No, you're assisting in our death.
You have to have some whistleblower protect him at all costs.
Con,
You know,
Yeah,
protect
yeah,
her at
yeah.
all
Con.
costs.
con.
And it
But
said,
it just proves that the spirit upholds us anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So we don't,
exactly.
That's right. With it says, with a place of his own among Yahweh's people. We were the ones who wandered off the right road. It's a lot. This is Israelites. We never, and heathens too as well, and mainly you Israelites. We never lived in the light of righteousness. We never caught the first glimmer of its light. All our lives we wandered across unmarked deserts instead of following the road which the Lord YAHAWASHI wanted us to travel.
Yeah, because there's a way to live with the earth,
That's right.
right? Oh, yeah, there's a way to live with the earth. So it's not just about yeah, it's not just about just being on the earth. You don't just come on the earth and just do whatever you want to do. There's a way to live with the earth. You Edomites just went to where was it? The Amazon, Brazil. You cut down how many miles of trees for climate change. So you went there to discuss climate change by destroying a part of the rainforest to put roads.
Yeah, so it says, all our lives we wandered across unmarked deserts instead of following the right roads which the Lord YAHWASHI wanted us to travel.
It's just like the brother Howard mentioned about as a baby you don't suck at various breasts.
Right.
Because first of all you can get diseases like that.
Con, yeah.
You don't know what kind of the woman's passing her genetics on to you.
Exactly, con.
Or bacteria,
Yep, con.
good or bad.
Con.
You know? So you can develop all kinds of bug out shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, your mother didn't have breast milk, so you have to go around and ask for various. That happens.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
But Edomites did that, right? In slavery.
Oh, yeah.
They had their Edomite children suck on back in his breast, right?
Well, that's why in this kingdom they have something called formula, which is a bunch of
Right.
things.
Bugged out.
Right.
Yeah, a bunch of things put into a box and you give it to your baby. That's like these other camps. All they got is formula. You got a bunch of things together, they put it, they give it out to you guys, and you get suck off of it. You know, and you're over proportion.
Yeah,
You know,
just like that Luke Dreadhead
inflated.
thing on the block that Pastor Har's, you know, been rebuking pretty much.
Yeah.
Forget it,
Guys.
he's bugged out, man.
That's why the scripture say you gotta drink out of thy own cisterns. True,
It says, and this lawlessness led us to ruin. We were so proud of ourselves. We bragged about how rich we were. And now, what good has it done us?
Yeah, like Nikola Tesla. I'm just using him as an example, just talking about us. But hey, guess what? When you built up the world the way you did, you never thought about the Most High.
Yeah.
You never once said, okay, well, we got to preserve this or conserve this. Even here in Ontario, our prime minister, he wanted to
like the green belt.
yeah, he wanted to tear down the
Tear
green
down,
belt just to build condos or something. I can't remember what he housed
yeah.
it. And the people then who actually look after
Yeah, it's
conservation,
conservation. Yeah.
they're telling them like no.
Yeah.
So even Esau has to look at Esau and be like, bro,
Yeah,
you're going
House-
too
house
hard,
is
bro.
divided.
Yeah, how's divided, yep.
Yeah, facts.
It's like you're trying to kill us if we take this place down. This place is needed.
You know how much destitute fields are in Brampton, Brandon, Milton, you know what I mean? Just random fields in the bush.
Yeah.
You can develop houses, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the green belt is very important, you know,
Yeah.
for the ecosystem,
Yeah.
you know?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because in this city here, Toronto's dealing with a whole congestion traffic problem, right? And Esau, in those, if you go past like Durham, they don't want you to pretty much expand past the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area,
Yeah.
right? However, this country is dealing with a whole bunch of population
Homelessness.
growth. You know what I mean? Overpopulation, right? You see what I'm saying? So Esau, he's not a good person to actually manage
You can't
a
manage.
city or country. He can't even manage a city.
Yes.
But he's trying to manage a country.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This
In
guy
the
is,
world.
yeah, in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
And there's so much homelessness in Ontario, and there's other GTA. There's a whole bunch of land.
And you know, this is why you know he's the wicked, because it's not like you don't have the power to do right. You have the whole world in your hand, you have this technology, but the very fact that you won't do right shows that you're the wicked. You
exactly.
just don't want to do right.
That's
and then,
right.
And then every business that he builds, it's to promote that, like a hospital, a jail.
Yeah.
So if he builds the hospital, he knows what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna poison their food.
Yes.
So you have to go to my hospital.
Yes.
I'm gonna build my jails. If I build my jail, I'm gonna create crime to fill up my jail. So everything that he builds is for wicked. It's not for good. People look at a hospital and be like, yo, that's a good place.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually not.
Yes.
It's actually not.
Yeah,
I have just one verse.
Yeah.
Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
That's right.
Yeah, the results of his wickedness. The oppressor.
You got a precept if anybody doesn't have it?
Well, go ahead.
This is Malachi chapter 1 verse 4. It says, whereas Edom saith we are impoverished, but we return and build the desolate places, thus saith Yahweh of armies, they shall build, but I will throw it down, and they shall call them.
And his plan is his 15-minute cities, right? So everybody wants to know why we being congested, because his plan is just 15-minute cities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything's 15 minutes away from each other.
And then it also says that they don't want you people to own anything.
No,
Yes.
no private car ownership.
Yeah.
That's why they're not making any gasoline cars after 2030,
Yeah. 2030. Yeah.
2029 or some shit.
Yeah. I think it's yeah.
And they want to self-driving cars, which this guy Jim Carrey, he had an interview years ago. I mean, he was joking, but you know how he is humor.
Yeah.
He's saying about soon they're gonna have cars that won't have steering wheels. They're just gonna drive themselves, and they're just gonna drive you to the police station, and you gotta pay off the tickets and the fines.
Yeah.
Anymore. You know, in a joking way, but
Yeah.
it's like iRobot. Remember?
Yeah,
At the beginning,
yeah.
talk on the phone, things driving
Yeah.
itself
Yeah.
on the highway.
Yeah.
And it says here, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, of the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
Mm-hmm.
So we're into Esau Edom. That's it.
Yeah, the man that promoted chaos, disorder. Yeah. Open not the house of his prisoners.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a quick precept. Revelation 12 verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them, both inhabitants of the earth and the sea.
Yeah, because even that whole prison system, it's demonic. Because if you do crime, you should go to jail. But that prison system is demonic because those men become homosexuals.
Yeah.
Right? They touch each other, all types of nasty, demonic things go on in there, man. That place is people die in there. You're not supposed to die when you go in there.
Yeah. But the way I see it, I was actually talking to my dad about this, but basically the prison is set up to actually extract your energy, Israelite energy, really and truly, and drain you of your spirit
Mm-hmm.
and break you down.
Yeah,
It's true.
It's a bad, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it drains your energy and to fuel Esau.
It's
You know
not
what I
guys,
mean?
they just want to come back. They
Dry
don't, they get
bones.
let out. they're not
Yeah,
like
guys,
me. They
yeah.
wanna just go
Yeah,
back.
that's why they tell you to go to your cell, because you're a battery.
Wow,
You're actually a
exactly.
battery.
Wow.
They take your energy.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's how it
yeah,
is.
exactly.
You're right.
That's crazy, yeah.
So certain states, like in the South, you'll be doing manual labor, physical labor.
Mhm.
Digging some,
Yeah.
picking
Work.
some rocks, or
Yeah.
plowing the field.
Yeah.
Certain states,
They
they do
have
a lot
to
of
work.
woodwork. They
Yeah.
do a lot of tables,
Yeah. Even
chairs.
sewing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
they get paid pennies every day.
That's right.
And that place, like you said, there are holding cells, but the trial is speedy. It's not okay, sir. See you in 8
Right,
months.
right,
You're out
right,
on probation.
right. Yeah,
Break
yeah.
the terms. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, you had judges right then and there, and the sentence was something of an action. If you stole, you would repay sevenfold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You know, like
Yeah.
if you committed a more serious crime, it was your life.
Yes,
There's no like you said. They call it a rehabilitator. They're supposed to rehabilitate you.
Yeah.
They're supposed to rehabilitate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a reason they call it college, convict college. You go there, you become a better criminal.
Yeah.
Because you meet more people that have stories and they talk and
Yup.
yeah, you
In
know,
network.
I did it this way, I did it this way, and then you
Get
just
more
start getting all
yup,
these
yup.
ideas.
This is how I got caught.
Like in that movie,
That's it, yo.
A Blow with Johnny Depp. He got booked for the first time for marijuana,
crazy.
and he went in there and he learned about cocaine. He's like, "What's cocaine?"
Exactly.
He's like, "Maybe you had the wrong dream."
Exactly.
He's like, "Oh my god."
Opened up his mind to a whole new
Yeah,
world.
different world. Yeah.
Wow.
Demonic, man.
For rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them, both inhabitants of the earth and the sea. For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that ye have a short time.
Like you said, they promote boogery. They'd rather have lady boys in the jail
Exactly.
than allow you gotta get married. They have a conjugal visit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
60 minutes. Go in the room.
Yeah.
You know. What the?
Back here in Wisdom Psalm 5 and 9, it says, all those things are gone now. They have disappeared like a shadow, like something you hear and then forget. And that's why the brother read, go to you, this is your heaven, basically, roughly paraphrasing. So live it up now because it's a shadow. It's going to flee quickly. Okay? And it says, verse 10, a ship sails across the waves and the ocean, but when it's gone, it leaves no trace. You cannot tell it was ever there. A bird flies through the air, but leaves no sign that it has been there. It spreads along, riding through the thin air by the force of its wings, leaving behind no trace of its passing. An arrow, and these are all allegories and metaphors to this kingdom, this life, right? They live in ultimately America as well, right? The only trace of America will be a desert wasteland with a bunch of creatures that I forgot how it words it specifically, but doleful creatures that will live there. And funny enough, those creatures represent those evil spirits and creatures represent what was already there before it got destroyed. It's all foreshadowing. That's all you got in America is evil spirits, doleful creatures. America is also going to be an altar.
That's right.
Okay. So
It's gonna burn for a long time. You don't know how long, but it's gonna burn for a long time.
Yeah.
We'll still see the smoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because just like how when the Twin Towers dropped, the smoke was going for days on end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Months,
see?
yeah.
So imagine America,
A
that
whole
great
land-
landmass, right?
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. That's it.
I just want to bring this out because we're going into the prison. I typed in ChatGPT, why is it called a prison industrial complex? Right, that's the system.
Right.
It says the term prison industrial complex is used to describe the interconnected system of prisons, government, and private industry that profits from and perpetuates mass incarceration. So how do they perpetuate it? How do they continue it? Through lawmaking
Right.
and through covert, you
Yeah.
know,
Movies,
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
give you the crack.
Yes.
Um,
That was a good one.
It says why it's called a complex. The complex refers to how multiple sectors are intertwined. Private prison companies profit from inmate labor or housing prisoners. Government agencies receive funding and political support for tough on crime policies. Corporations benefit from cheap prison labor. Law enforcement and politicians gain budgets, jobs, or votes by supporting punitive policies.
Yeah, because there's whole prison cities.
Yeah.
There's
David
whole
Mayer,
cities
Mayor
like Mayor Kingstown. You have people that literally eat off
Yeah.
of the back of Jake being in
It's
prison.
like if the prison closed, that's like the GM closing in the town.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah,
big
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
a big
yeah.
thing.
The factory closed.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a big thing.
got laid off.
You have generations of family that work
Yeah.
in the prison. Yeah.
They made a movie, Monsters Ball, back in the day. The
Yeah,
father
with
and
that
the son.
dirty, with that dirty
And I
Halliburton.
think his father worked before him. It was like a whole just.
It's a good movie though.
Yeah. Well, Salakia, just to add on, right? That the whole crime, police system, that feeds these Edomites, right? These Edomites want to talk shit about Jake. You know. So what if Jake was just up and leave? How would you make money then?
Yeah, basically that's why a lot of these small towns,
That's true.
they have courts, right? Well, a lot of Edomites, like they get arrested and they're out within a couple hours.
Right.
But if Jake goes to jail, Jake's in jail for like months or years.
Yep.
You know?
Because it's all targeted towards our people.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the point, yeah.
A good example of that is the war on drugs.
Right.
Going back into that, how Jake would get caught with some
Crack,
weed,
the crack.
a little bit of one pebble of crack,
Yeah.
and he would do like 50 years,
Yeah.
and that was to keep them in jail.
Right.
That was a revolving door.
Yeah.
Like this, like the 3 strikes and law and they're out. And I think in California.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then now weed is legalized. How about that? So what about the Jakes that were locked up? You know.
If we let them on.
It's just-
Yeah, cause I drive. I live close to Niagara Falls. There's a place in Grimsby, right off the highway. You could smell the fucking ganja. You could smell it, bro. You could smell that. Yeah, it's a field, and
then that-
it's legal.
But at the same
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
you need certain licenses even then. They still raid people.
Yeah.
So it's bugged out.
Yeah.
It's a plant. You know what I mean? But it's up to Esau to, hey,
Who's that? Oh, you was?
And he
Oh,
can't
I'll get it, I'll
control
get it,
where the
I'll get it.
plant grows.
I get it.
The plant grows wherever it grows naturally. You see what I'm saying? But he's gonna tell you this is
called
illegal.
the weed.
Yeah.
Weed, right?
Yeah, it's a weed. Yeah, exactly.
It grows how it grows.
Yeah. Sure.
Kingdom.
So it says key features: mass incarceration, high prison population, especially among marginalized groups, aka profit motive. Prisons become a source of revenue and jobs, incentivizing expansion.
Yeah.
Harsh sentencing laws, 3 strikes, mandatory minimums, and the war on drugs boost prison numbers. Racial and social control, disproportionate targeting of black, indigenous, and low-income communities. Lobbying and influence.
Wow.
Private prison companies and unions lobby for harsher laws and more prisons. They just look at Jake as a stock.
Yeah.
Livestock, livestock, at the farm.
Yeah.
They call those. That's why.
You got sheep here, you know?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
all in the
yeah,
herd.
Yeah,
It's
in
true.
that, in that documentary, that meeting, the guy, the Rabbi Finkelstein, was like in the herd.
Yeah,
the
in the
Goy,
herd, yeah.
the Goyim.
Because Jake, majority of people, they just, what do you call it,
Use the cedars.
useless eaters, but you're expendable.
Oh,
You're continually expendable. You know? Like if what they tell us is 8 billion people, but then there's cities underground, that means there's more people. And then we're not even talking about the traffic people. You know, that's a whole nother world. So people are just expendable resources to them, but especially Jake, because the Mossad has a curse on him. You know, there's a black market for your organs.
Yep.
Okay, there's a black market for you,
For your children.
you know, for your children.
Yeah, I was watching a thing in Kenya. There was basically people that sell their organ. Like they actually cut themselves and they sell their organ. They get like $1,000, $2,000 American. And meanwhile, Esau, he's taking the organs. You know, like a kidney, it's like over 80,000 in America for one
It's
kidney.
a hustle, yeah.
Yeah.
There's recruiters that go up to poor people that be like, hey, you know you have 2 kidneys. You sell one.
Yeah.
You live with one too.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? And they'll give them, they'll show money, you know?
Yeah.
Oh shit, never seen how much money in my life. But that's just a side mission, bro. We're talking about people being kidnapped and just,
Yeah.
here,
Children, yeah.
liver,
Yeah.
lungs,
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
And
On a daily.
they'll have you on the waiting list for 10 years.
On a daily.
Like that's why when you have your license, they ask you if you want to be an organ donor. Definitely don't fucking do that. Definitely take that. Never sign up for that shit
Let me read this
because
real
you
quick.
become a target. Right?
This is back here. I'm talking about the prison cell and everything. So this is Isaiah 51 and 19. It says, "These two things are come unto thee. Who shall be sorry for thee? Desolation and destruction and famine and sword. By whom shall I comfort thee?" This is the point. Verse 20. "Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as wild bulls in a net."
Yeah, that's why our people, they're in the ghettos, they're hanging out.
Prison
in
cells.
in that bodega. They're, chilling, smoking weed, playing loud music. They're looking for their so-called op.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
These bulls, man.
And the net goes into a trap.
Yeah.
So basically everything your brothers are explaining, this whole system is a trap. Wherever where you look at, you eat, your kids go to school, you go to job, you get a job, you get your license, everything's a trap.
Yeah, and they call it the trap in the music, right?
Trap
With
music.
the whole like what's her name? That Young Jeezy.
Yeah, no, the
That
crack
thug
house.
motivation.
Yeah,
trap
That's big
music.
shit.
But that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
You Jakes, you were sold this. Jeezy wasn't created,
Like that, for that.
right? Because he worked with a corporation. I forgot his record label, but he called his thing corporate thugging. Right, that's what they got into. They got into something known as corporate thugging because they made it on that level, right? So they sold you out. They all sold us out. All of our people,
All of them.
right? Even that guy, the
Young
director
Jeezy.
that just came out with the movie, and he's always dressed as a woman.
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry. He's a sellout as well because the movies that he makes pushes an agenda.
Yeah.
So all these people who are the millionaires, the billionaires in our
Community.
they're all they are just fucking they're sellouts.
Yeah.
They're shepherds on the left hand side.
Yeah.
They're guiding you in the way that they want you to go and to think and to speak
Con.
and to act. Because the lady Medea, she's a degenerate.
Mm.
There will never be another Medea in the kingdom. In the
Now.
kingdom, our women are not going to speak like that, act like that, or even look like that. There will never be another Mally. Our women will never be overweight again.
Mhm.
That's right.
Oh, grandma has diabetes. No, grandma has sugar. She has a sugar. Gotta amputate the leg. We're not gonna amputate no more limbs.
That's messed up, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, grandma's supposed to be. The scriptures talk about the mature woman.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Supposed to,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
be of a certain mindset. These women are trying to be younger now.
Yeah,
They're trying to be a damn gilf.
Compete with
Yeah, yo.
Nothing mind the milf.
Yeah.
You know, it's like but
Yeah.
they're just man. Fucked
The
up.
world is fucked up.
I got something real quick just to bring out, just because you're going into the word cell and the whole prison industrial complex, because I have a term here from the book called Word Magic by Pao Chung. And it says here, a ward is defined as a section in a prison. In prison, wards are used for caging prisoners. They are also known as prison cells. Why the word cells? Because prisoners are being used as batteries. The word cell is defined as a device that generates electrical energy from chemical energy, usually consisting of two different conducting substances placed in electrolyte. And it says to connect the dots, babies are put in maternity wards to prepare them to become human batteries, just like
Hey,
you went to the hospital.
No, yeah, finish.
No, oh, okay.
No, finish your point. You had something you were gonna say.
No, I wasn't. I was just gonna say that goes along with your point, going into the hospital. Right?
Exactly.
It's a very dangerous place, right?
And it's the same thing. It is because and I hate going to hospitals because remember, you could smell sickness.
Yeah,
you could
yeah,
smell
yeah.
death.
That's why they have to keep it low, the air conditioner.
It's the same thing with prison because in prison you're around people that actually should be in there, and there's people that shouldn't be in there. So all that energy, you could be next to a pedophile, you could next be a mass murderer. That place is demonic, man.
Yeah, that's why too. I was in the hospital. When you go to the hospital, you you don't want to go. Like you don't want to. If you don't have to go, like don't go there. But if you have to, you have to.
No, that's not what we're saying.
Well, I'm saying.
What we're saying is that there should be no such thing as a hospital because we should be away from sin. Obviously, when you go through certain things, you gotta go there, but that place is still death.
It's still death.
Yeah, that's
And they basically, a lot of people who get shot or they have like a heart attack or whatever, they go to the hospital. You know, they look at you like, you know, when you don't have no tattoos and all that shit.
Yeah.
You become like a prey,
Yeah.
and they look at you like money. You know?
Yeah, it's true.
Your money.
Yep,
It's serious, man.
especially to those art the tattoo artists
Yeah.
that look at your pure skin.
Yeah.
They'd be like, yeah, come get a tattoo, come get inked up.
Come defile yourself.
That's an Egyptian custom anyway.
That's
Goes
straight
back
from
to the
Egypt.
Egyptian. You got the barber in there too. The barber
Yep.
goes back to the Egyptians as well.
Yeah.
And the lineups.
Yeah.
You know? And then like you're saying, you're around people, they prove that, first of all, we have pores, they open up, you sweat. The bacteria between people in a room starts to interact. Your gut
Yeah.
bacteria.
Yeah.
Right? They proved that Esau's science,
Yeah.
you know? So if you're around weirdo, that's why you might have that gut feeling when you say,
yeah.
oh, this guy's off, this guy's, you know, something's weird.
Yeah.
You know,
It's true.
because you're interacting with those people. So if you imagine just even smelling the pores of people like that, just being around people.
You got people with sores and like that, like the general, the wound like that general in the Apocrypha.
Antiochus.
Antiochus.
Oh yeah.
Putrefying sores.
Putrefying
Yeah,
sores,
yeah.
yeah.
And this is why when we're going to be in these concentration camps, the Lord's going to have a spirit on us.
Yeah.
You know, because these concentration camps are going to be worse than those prisons. You know, because these prisons, it's also, it's crazy, but this concentration camp is going to go crazy.
Yep.
He's going to go crazy. People are going to be defecating, they're going to be rotting, you're going to hear this, hear people talking to themselves.
Well, that's what the Latin tribe is going through right now.
Right, over in,
They said the
El
conditions.
Salvador.
No,
El
in LA.
Salvador? Oh, in LA, okay.
In LA, Slovakia, yeah.
Okay,
Where ISIS houses them,
okay,
they said the conditions is terrible, man.
Well, you remember those Issachar kids? They just gave them aluminum blankets.
Yes, Khan, you remember that
Years
one?
ago, it was like 4
Khan, yeah.
This is
Demonic, bro.
But I just want to bring this up.
Yeah.
The word, this is from ChatGPT, from prison cell. Why is it called prison cell? Etymology as well. Latin cella, a small room, storeroom, or sanctuary. It was used in temples. The cella was the innermost chamber of a temple. So we're just going into more paganism and how they're harnessing. The boy brought up how they're harnessing as a battery.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like in the Matrix, Morpheus is like to turn you into this and show the battery.
Right.
Your battery.
Yeah.
The pump is taking your energy.
Yeah.
So,
No, I was just gonna say that you're in on the right hand side you have the holies of holies. So on the left hand side you're in their so-called holies of holies. So you're in like the heart of it. You know?
what do they call it? The belly of the beast.
The belly of the beast. Yeah, Khan, exactly.
Right there.
Precept?
Khan.
I have two. Isaiah 42 and 21. The Lord Yahawah is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law of the honorable. But this is a people, this is the point, verse 22. So this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth.
Nice.
For a spoil, and none saith restore. Let me get an NLT. Verse 22 says, but his own people have been robbed and plundered, enslaved, imprisoned, and trapped. They are fair game for anyone,
Wow.
and have no one to protect them.
That's it.
You're
And the reason-
you're just sitting ducks.
That's right.
You're just out there for Esau to come and take you up.
That's right. And there's a reason why. Is because they have lack of knowledge,
Yep.
of understanding, and they
That's right.
don't fear the Lord,
That's right.
which is YAHAWASHI IS, man.
That's right.
That's right.
Yep.
And you have a birth certificate or a SIM card, you know, and the Esau is making money,
Yep.
you know, and
Off of
then
you,
all these different like churches and stuff, they're making money,
Yep.
you know. They're not telling our people who they are.
That's right. We grab this quick. Revelation 2 and 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison,
Yep.
that ye may be tried, right? And this is not the spiritual, this is not a person that has two horns on his head and a pitchfork, right? That's really red.
That's right.
Red, but not red the way you think red.
Yeah, the
You see what I'm
translucent.
saying? Yeah. Okay, this is the actual man on the earth. This is the Edomites, the so-called white man. Okay?
And and wait till you people find out that the Most High created the perfect enemy.
Yeah.
You people are gonna lose it. You people are.
Yeah.
I thought everybody was just equal.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone's just equal.
Witchcraft.
The only reason why he was created was to be the wicked.
That's right.
The reason why you heathens were created was to serve us. The reason why we were created is to serve the Heavenly Father and His Son. Everybody has a role. You're not just created just to. You just see, bees don't just do what they want. Everybody has a role. They're doing it, man.
Yep, that's right.
So it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of
Yeah, like
life.
the brother who's seen the dream with Elon Musk, in the concentration camp.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
There were people being tortured,
Yeah.
and popped out like those maniac Edomites, like, just to see who's up there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And you could
The
look
Shining.
at Esau. You look at Esau when he does the last interview with like Trump, like I think a couple of weeks ago, and he's moving his head all over the place, like he's all of it.
Those guys are on drugs.
He's on
Yeah,
heavy
yeah,
drugs.
They're on adrenochrome, they're
Heavy
tweaking.
drugs.
He's on ketamine. He's on that thing called ketamine.
Yeah, he was like, he's tweaking up the per.
Somebody was saying
He's
that
on ketamine.
yeah, he's on ketamine.
Ketamine.
Somebody was saying
Yeah,
that.
he's like, he's not normal.
Yeah.
That's okay.
He's not a normal fucking
Cat
guy.
tranquilizer. Or something like that.
Yeah, just drank.
Yeah, cat.
Cat
Yeah,
tranquilizer.
or a little small
I'm on
animal.
that one.
That was it.
That was it?
Remember, he did a ceremony, he got his eye punched.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he
It's
probably
in the
had.
Black Eye Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Black Eye Club.
Crazier than Diddy, man.
Yeah, way crazier than
I think Diddy's nights are crazy.
Yeah, those guys are nuts, man.
That's all for us. So, let me just finish with any extra get to finish this up. This is back in Isaiah 51 and 20, right? It says, thy sons have fainted, they lie at the head of all the streets, as a wild bull in a net, they are full of fury and of the Lord Yahawah, fear of the Lord Yahawah, and the rebuke of thy power. So all these things, the condition of our people is really the Lord's fury on them. And that's the Lord rebuking them too.
God, the tender brother shall be,
Oh yeah, it's actually evil.
toward,
Yes.
that's that black on black crime.
Yeah.
Why can't we get along?
Yeah.
Crabs
In the bucket, in the barrel,
the barrel mentality,
Yeah.
holding each other down.
Yeah, exactly. Apostle Lamar says he mentioned you have, like you said, the crabs and a barrel and a bucket, and you have the barrel masters, the bucket masters, which are the elites. Sure. It says, therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus saith the Lord Yahawah, so it's a spiritual drunk, okay? Thus saith the Lord Yahawah, and thy power that pleadeth, which you know that word, he means judge, pleadeth the cause of his people.
And what's hurting us is that we keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result because we don't have the answers, right? As a people, and they call that madness. If you continue to do the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, they say that you're mad. Our people, right? They wake up and do the same thing every day, day by day, thinking that something is going to change. The first change that you have to make is turning back to the YAHAWASHI IS. There is no way around that. We can't do anything without our powers, right? And YAHAWASHI is a part of that because Yahweh's not even going to deal with us unless we go through His Son. So forget about. You people should even be asking about the Heavenly Father right now. You should be inquiring about His Son.
Yeah, straight.
Yeah.
This is Isaiah 51:17. It says, "Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk.
That's what our lessons are.
Yeah.
Our lessons are a wake-up call.
Yeah.
We're that spiritual alarm clock that we go off all the time, right? To wake you up, but you people are not waking up because you're dead spiritually.
That's right.
Right? You guys are, you Jakes are living. You're living great, right? It's your time right now. You guys are partying. You guys are popping bottles. You guys are throwing touchdowns. You guys are winning gospel music awards. You guys are building mansions. You guys are on TikTok. You guys are living. You guys are living. Some of you guys are working out. You guys look good.
Yeah.
You women are looking beautiful, man. Half naked outside. Yeah. You're looking good. You're alive, but not to the Most High, though.
That's right.
To the Heavenly Father, you're dead.
That's right.
You're a degenerate plant.
Yeah.
They got all the money and all of that. Now they're gonna be start doing the blue jacket, which is scamming. There's a new thing that they got with the what's it called? The flipper. And
Yes.
some other stuff, some new stuff.
Elon has them in the convenience stores.
What's that?
Where they come right up to you and all you hear is beeping.
Oh, I seen that.
No, but that's kind of like a fake thing. But now I see something yesterday. There's a new thing that's like
They're really doing it.
they can actually take like swipe everything from you just by coming in range. If they have the right tools,
Yeah.
everything's gone. Everything, 20,000, whatever. No, everything's gone.
Esau wants that.
Because they're doing it in Colombia.
Yeah.
They're doing it in Colombia.
Esau wants that because he wants to makes the clay for the push for the MOTV. The MOTV secure. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You don't need no.
Yeah.
You don't need no
yeah.
credit card
Yeah.
or bank card.
Right.
And a lot of people don't really walk with their wallets. They just have some of them they have like the wallet, what do you call them, the ID, Apple Watch and all these different stuff.
Well, the wallet's on your phone. It's called e-wallet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Electronic or Google Wallet.
Yeah.
That's what I have.
Yeah.
Which they changed it. It used to be called Google Wallet. Now they just go wallet.
Hmm.
I noticed that. It used to be called Google
So
Wallet.
it's universal.
And then you just put it to wallet.
Yeah.
And you have your different cards, whatever you decide to.
Yeah.
Right. So that also then changes the definition of a wallet.
Yep.
It's no longer just a physical pouch, so to speak. It's a, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's something
Digital now.
Yeah, digital.
Yeah.
And,
You're in the wallet.
yeah.
Everything's kept in you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, that's why I remember that poster on the TTC years ago, maybe 2012. Your DNA with your data or some shit like that.
Yes.
Like, something like that. They were pushing that.
Yeah.
It was years ago.
Yeah.
That's what just
Something
when the
like your DNA
smartphones
will
started.
be something. Right?
Yeah.
That's why I think is it in Switzerland or Finland, and they don't walk with Switzerland. Yeah, they don't walk with wallet. They have a lot of them have the mark of the beast in their flesh.
Yep.
So they don't walk with cash. They just swipe their hand and that's it. So that's what's gonna happen here.
Or everyone's used to the so-called gig economy. So now kids it's a whole different thing, man. Like we can remember a world without OnlyFans, where bitches were basic. You
I
know?
remember.
You know what I mean? Like you had to be a stripper or a harlot or something, and even that wasn't that popular.
Yeah.
You know? But
Now
now
all these bitches are on OnlyFans.
and everyone's used to the now I can go on TikTok and just start making money. That's their career mindset, their choice.
Right.
So everything is already hooked up to the Internet of Things.
Yeah, even girls that I know, they're just like, oh, I won't sleep with anybody, but I'll sell feet pics. Like they's always
Yeah,
they're
they're
always
on
trying to
only-
figure
oh,
out
yeah.
ways around it. You know what I mean?
Even these little fat bitches are on OnlyFans.
That's what I'm saying.
Remember back in the
There
day,
was
like you could get a
basic
little
bitches.
big thing quick.
Basic.
Easy.
And now their heads are
You can't talk to them. now they're Lizzo.
It's a stolen clouds.
But that's part of the trap to bring people down, man, back down. It's gonna be a big fall.
That's right.
You know, you're so high up, now you're gonna be down. You know?
So that's why Isaiah 4:1, they're gonna be trying to look for the man of the Lord.
Yeah.
You know?
And we're not just taking anybody.
There's
No.
a lot of trials, man.
Yeah.
We're not just taking anybody. Because you're out there complaining and stuff. No. Let me finish this. It says Isaiah 51:17. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of the Lord Yahweh the cup of his fury. Everything we're talking about, brothers, we're talking about is
And
exactly that.
everything is going towards that MLTV because now people don't want to learn trades or manual things.
Right?
And we have this division, hey, you should learn this and do that. But guess what? Even those people are going to be taken off the job market. Because
Right.
you have 3D printed houses now. You have a machine that does the work and,
Yeah, I've seen that.
and it's just
Yeah.
getting better and better every day.
That's right.
You know? So people drive, the truck drivers are saying we're not going to be truck drivers soon because everything is going to be automated, autonomous.
Because they showed you that in Logan.
Logan, yeah.
You watched that movie. We're driving on a highway, was in a truck, and then we almost crashed into the other guy. And
Yep.
he's like, "What the fuck?" All you hear is the trucks are speaking. You're like, "What the fuck?" And they just kept on driving. They didn't even
Well,
stop.
they have well, they have it right now in
Yeah,
America.
they're testing it up here in Canada.
Yeah.
And then you got people that, so you have majority of youth, you have people saying we don't have enough youth in trade works now, right? So some of them might go there, but the other ones that are just on TikTok and the gig economy, they're saying everything is going towards that anyway.
Yeah.
They're gonna get caught up in that MOT. Everyone's gonna get caught up in that net.
That's right.
Whether
Exactly.
you know, whatever you do,
Yeah.
that's why that time is so important.
Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
It's gonna be otherworldly. You're gonna have some tunnel vision because everything's gonna be closed around you.
Exactly.
Every opportunity. Remember the scripture said, at the time men shall hope, but obtain nothing.
Yes,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, somebody should get that one.
So that's the second Ezra's,
Yeah,
I like
that's a good one.
That's why they show you that movie Demolition Man, which is a very good movie with Arnold. No, not Arnold.
So that's good.
Like Sylvester Stallone. And you know, a lot of the people, like they were outsiders. They had to like live underground and eat rat burgers.
Hey, that's what those movies are about.
Yeah.
Those movies are predictive programming.
Yeah.
Even the one with the Asian one, where they had the money in the pig,
Wow.
and they had to like
Oh yeah, that movie.
Squid Games.
Squid Games.
The reason why they have stuff like that,
shit.
that's men hoping. So in those days, just like what Donald Trump just suggested, Donald Trump suggested a Squid Game.
Yeah,
That's what he
with
suggested.
with the immigrants.
With the
right?
immigrants.
Yes,
The Purge.
But when these elites see that they have everything, because remember, the economy is going to collapse soon.
Yes.
Nobody's going to have anything.
Yep.
So the elites are going to play games with us.
Exactly.
That's what TikTok is for. You do dumb dances, hope that people send you money.
Oh.
That's all life is going to be.
Yeah.
That was
That's what they
that was
want
in
life
Black
to do.
Mirror. Wasn't that in
Yes, Black Mirror,
And then
yes.
the guy he had to be on the bike and he was like running.
Oh, yes.
I'm
And
not
he kept
running, he was
doing weird
a
stuff
cycling.
to himself.
Yeah.
Yes, he was trying to provide for his daughter.
It's the guy from Get Out.
And then
His
one
name
guy,
Daniel something.
one guy said, "I'll pay you $1 million
Yeah.
to show
Yeah.
your face."
Yeah.
That was a good episode.
It's the real life Hunger Games. You know?
Real life Hunger Games.
That's
That's
right.
what we're going to live in just now
Yeah.
to even make anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why women are turning to prostitution, which we prophesied years ago
That's right.
because we knew there would be nothing else left for them to do.
That's
They're going to be exactly who.
The world's oldest.
That's
what they say.
That's
They're
profession.
going to be exactly.
That's what they
Never
say.
gonna
though.
stop.
No,
I
I don't think
Yeah.
it's
Because it's all that they know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
After all these years, after all these decades, you women never learned anything. You regressed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
What you told yourself is that the skills that your mom had was oppressive.
Yeah.
You thought your mom knew how to sew, your mom knew how to cook, your mom knew how to bake. You thought all those things were inferior.
Downgraded.
Homemaking, homekeeping.
And now what's gonna happen is that because you women have no life skills, you have to use the box. And you're so foolish. I'm gonna tell you why most of you women are foolish, because your skills would allow you to be a dressmaker. You could be a laundry cleaner. There was so much things when you have
maid.
those practical skills, man.
Be an asset.
Yeah, that's,
You'd be an asset.
that's what they call it, home economics.
Home economics,
yes,
exactly.
It's an actual economy.
Beautiful
Economy of the
points.
home. Yep, you're right.
Woman knows how to sew. Let's say you're at a farm and you have sheep. You take the wool,
Mhm.
the woman how to
So
make wool.
yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
that's a business right
That's a super business.
That's why Isaiah 4:1 says.
I have it, Isaiah 32.
Them
No,
shits are
I
expensive,
did.
man.
For
You
one,
go wool,
okay.
get some wool blanket,
Yeah.
some wool clothing.
You know how expensive that is? And really and truly, those blankets are good for falling asleep.
Yes.
Because the wool is weighted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you
And it's
feel,
high frequency.
yep, and when you feel something weighted on your body,
You see,
They have
It's
a weighted
still-
blankets
yeah.
now, but it's polyester.
making you itch.
That's why Isaiah 4:1 tells you that the women are going to come to you and say, we'll take care of this, we'll take care of our own things. Let's just be called by your name. They're gonna go back to those things.
That's
that
gonna
they're talking
happen
about.
soon.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
true.
They're gonna go back to those things
True.
that they're talking about because this economy is gonna crash.
Yeah.
But that's what we've been saying. The point you brought out, they use feminism to degenerate more.
Mhm.
They use their time to be liberal, to learn whatever they want to learn, to be better whores.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Now they're the
You
best.
just prove that what happens when you give a woman a liberty.
Yeah.
Scriptures tell me that.
Now they're the greatest because these women are the greatest at pleasing men. I used to watch one of my favorite shows. What's her name? Lisa Ray. What's her show? Insecure.
Oh, okay.
Insecure was her show. Great show.
And she writes other shows too.
Yeah, but Insecure was the one where they showed our women being degenerate, and they went to a sex class,
Wow.
learn how to give blowjobs. So that's what I'm saying. Our women's
what's happening
knowledge
right now.
is sexual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything
that's true,
sexual
yeah.
Physical.
is their knowledge. Their knowledge is how to trap a man, how to cheat on a man, how to take his resource.
Yeah.
Their knowledge is nothing good. It's
Right.
all demonic.
Comes from Satan. Comes
Yeah.
from the serpent.
So yes, you can please a man. Oh yeah, give him the best head. How come you left me? Because a man doesn't just want pussy.
Exactly.
He wants more than pussy.
He wants. The Lord said, it's not good for a man to be alone. Let him have a helper.
You want
He needs to
substance.
serve.
Yeah,
those-
yeah,
those-
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Precept, I'm up there.
I had the one I found
Go
before.
ahead, bring it up.
Second Ezra's 5 and 11. GNT, it says
Judgment.
It says one country will ask a neighboring country if
Yes.
justice or anyone who does right has come that way, but the answer will always be no. At that time, so that just shows you the state of countries, the state of
Yeah.
places, bro.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be- Remember that one brother? He had a dream where one brother got the MOTV and he was following and pleading, and then
Yes,
they
yes.
took to turn the alleys, and he just couldn't see him anymore. So the Lord's gonna hide the elect in some
Oh, yeah.
strange ways, you know.
Like exactly, like the angel that was appearing to eat.
And he never actually ate.
So
He
he
put
can
it in their
show
mind.
illusions
Yeah.
and do stuff.
I have a
Yeah.
precept.
Hold on,
No,
real
real
quick.
quick. Two more. But it says in verse 12, at that time, people will hope for much,
Right.
but will get nothing.
Right.
They will work hard, but will never succeed at anything.
Yeah, because AI's gonna take all your jobs.
Yeah, you
AI
don't
is
have-
learning everything. Everybody's using chat,
Chat.
and you're teaching
Raw.
chat how to run you. Okay, it's learning your
They're
jobs.
giving them a profile. They
Exactly.
just did an update a week ago. It gave me an update saying now we have better memory logs. We
I
can
got the
remember
same one.
things.
I got the same
So
one.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everything, the detail.
That's
Because
right.
I'll throw stuff out and they'll say, oh, this will complement this.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's a real nigga.
Yes.
Yes.
This is why we got the greatest job. You can't, AI can't take over this job, even though
That's right.
we go to
We use it.
we use it, and we'll ask the questions or learn. It doesn't have the spirit. You
Right.
can't copycat the
And
spirit.
that's why Esau has these clones. He has for years of, right?
Right.
Clone shit.
Yeah,
You might see a clone of yourself.
They're
Yeah,
cloning
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Klein Road.
You know?
Yeah, they
But
clone
it,
Klein Road.
it's not.
It's not
It's not
authentic.
it. You know, like
Yeah.
I think was it that robot? No.
They clone Klein Road.
No,
Yeah,
the
that-
island.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
one. They tried to. They had clones of people in the real world, but they used it for organ harvesting.
Yeah.
And then once everyone found out, I think they wanted to make a law saying, oh, we have to treat these people good or some shit like that. But there's nothing there. That's
Yeah.
just a organic being. You know, that Esau in his laboratory
It's real.
conjured up.
That's real.
That was
Isaiah 32:9. Rise up, you women that are at ease.
Yep.
Hear my voice, you careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall you be troubled, you careless women. For the vintage shall fail, but the gathering shall not come.
Vintage. And that's everything brothers were talking about. The what's it called? Where they sell their feet. What's it called again? OnlyFans.
Or
Right.
and all these different sites.
Which
And
that
then they
shows
do
you, remember,
Twitter.
fans means
Yeah.
fanatical, so
Yeah.
the people are crazy.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
only fans.
Yeah, like they're
Well, that's
making
to be.
like they're making millions of dollars. These bitches, right?
Right?
Some of them.
That's why.
Oh, yeah.
The word fanatic means an insane person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, look, that one Edomite chick took on. She went through 100 men in one day,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Let me
Oh.
better it and do 1,000."
And guess what? She never got one man, because what you brothers are also going into is the lack of testosterone. You women have never really dealt with men.
Yeah, you said that last week.
We're really the only men that they've seen in a long time. And I'm just talking about the way that we speak. Obviously, we're in this weakened state as well. The elder brought out the microplastics that's in our testicles,
Yep.
which mean that already means that, look, this is plastic.
That's it.
We're gonna drink plastic even today.
Yeah.
Right, my water bottle, I'm drinking plastic today. So our testosterone levels are very low. You women are lucky.
Yeah.
You're lucky. You are lucky. You haven't seen a man. You don't know what a man
I have
is.
no idea.
We don't even know what a man is because we haven't seen one in a long time. Men don't allow what is going on to happen. The reason why they did this is so they can pull the wool over men's eyes.
Yeah.
That's what this was all the plan to begin with, to get us weak. We're weak.
Yeah.
That's how you know the Lord's going to import a heavy spirit on the men of the Lord. Because everything he says is on point. It has the spirit's going to generate that man, that man from the ancient time. It's going to be the spirit that's going to generate that man. And the flesh can't.
The flesh can't.
Exactly.
Bro, we keep, to deal with the amount of death we're gonna see.
It's
Yo.
We always tell you, like, as much as best gore videos you see, or death videos, or all these different things, you can't. There's no conditioner for that. So, like, you have to think about, even in the average Israelite life, you've probably seen somebody being stoned when you were 5 or 10 years old.
Exactly.
Easy.
So you were,
Very easy.
Easy,
You know?
easy.
Stoned, burned.
Yep.
Oh, she was a Levite's a priest's daughter. She was a
Yeah,
whore.
yeah.
She was a
She
whore.
gotta get burned.
Get out of here.
Oh, he fucked the
Yeah,
mother
yeah,
and the
yeah.
daughter. They gotta get burned.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Probably
Like,
that's gonna be awesome.
Sure.
so that already put a different. When you're a man back then, like, yo, I already seen death and I understand the consequences of my actions.
You have to,
You're
you have to, you have to stone your lazy son. You're doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You mentally have to prepare for that.
Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and burst sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant field.
Yeah, sackcloth. Just like we're wearing sackcloth now, you people are gonna wear sackcloth in that.
That's
day.
right.
You guys make fun of the garments, but guess
Right.
what? You're gonna wear potato sacks in that
Woo! God.
day. You know?
And they're basically at the border there because that's why they force people to wear these ripped garments.
Yeah, that's the style, the fashion.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck?
Madness, yeah.
Which just, it's like Halloween. It just, it portrays what's going on in the spirit.
Mhm.
That's what you are. You're torn, Isaiah. You're full of putrefying sores. You're beaten and you're bad. And so that's what you're wearing. People, when you see people on Halloween, they dress, but the spirit is in the body.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Micah,
Most of these bitches say they dress up as horse.
And witches.
Yeah, witches.
Witches.
Yeah, witches. Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Slutty
Fairies.
Yeah.
Slutty maid.
Yeah,
Call it
fairies,
cosplay.
no,
Some of them
vampires.
have they're Satan. They have the pitchfork.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the horns. It's like
Talk about the cute
Very
devil.
demonic time.
Micah 7 and 10.
If they're an angel, they're a slutty angel.
Yes.
Yo.
Slutty nurse.
Then, then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down in the mire of the streets.
Hey, and shame, and
She's for
shame,
the streets.
and shame is gonna cover you men
Yeah.
that exalted them as well.
That's right.
That exalt the feminine principle in an inordinate way. Right? It's inordinate because
That's right.
you overly exalt the woman to a place where she should not be. Because
Worshiping the Queen of Heaven.
that's all you're doing.
Since your adolescence, man.
Damn, losers, man.
That's why these simps, they gotta be taken out. Like on this side, they're gonna be judged heavy too.
Mhm.
Because they supported that shit, man. You know?
They're protecting the mama bee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the queen bee, whatever, you know? Yeah, yeah.
Remember with Jeremiah when he was
And they
cursing
call
them
them
out
queen bees.
with the cake, and you guys are making cakes to the queen of
Yeah,
heaven,
yeah.
da, 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 and the women were like, yeah, we're doing it, but don't think our men didn't know that we were doing it and helping us with it.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Let me get the precept.
Exactly.
They were boasting about it, like, yeah, you're gonna curse us out, but curse out the men too.
Exactly.
And these were top teachers.
Exactly.
Top teachers.
Exactly.
Helping their women build a cake of, you know.
Exactly.
Let me
Hey,
get that.
but that's what happened to Sakari or Alazar. He's leaving the door open for his women to point their finger at him and be like, yes, Lord, I was doing this wickedness, but it was him. He participated, right? Him being a priest, you have to do better, right?
Yeah.
You gotta do better, man. You gotta do better. That's why you really and truly can't play with these women.
No,
Not in
man.
that type of way, man.
You can compare that to Adam, like what happened to Adam.
Exactly.
He said, "Oh, it was you this woman you gave me? You know, she made me go off.
Exactly.
And really, you're responsible."
You're responsible for her. Come. And the reason why, you know why he did that? Because he loved her. He didn't want to lose her. Because what was supposed to be his job when she brought that to him? She correct or cut her off. Then what do you mean you were talking to a serpent? What?
Yeah,
And you listen to him?
Those heathens, yeah.
Right? We don't know what that implies, but for a man to get in your woman's ear, that's personal.
Yep.
That's intimate.
Remember,
You can't get in my woman's ear.
That's
That
right.
means she's your woman now.
Remember what Samson did when they did that? He said, "Who was plowing with my heifer?"
Straight.
True.
Who was talking with her, getting the secret? Look what he did to the Philistines for doing
Oh,
that.
man.
He tore them apart just for sidebarring with his woman.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why you as a man, you need to understand the things that your woman talks about. Listen to her. Because when she goes into different things now, she'll be like, hey, what do you think about this?
Right.
You'd be like, where the fuck you learned that from?
It's
Where you get that from? Because you can tell when somebody's spirit and energy is changing, you know? Even in this truth, sometimes people do that too. You might introduce certain doctrines that we never heard before. It could be a slippery slope, so you have to be vigilant
You have to
as
check
a
it.
man to just say, where'd you get that?
Yep.
Oh, I was watching a video. Okay, what video? Send me the video. I want to see it.
Exactly.
Exactly. You know?
Sometimes you just gotta let
Decency and
people talk.
order.
You gotta let
You
people
just let
talk.
people talk and listen.
Exactly.
You gotta listen.
I
You
just
got
listen,
two
bro.
ears.
I'm just here to listen, bro.
So this is Jeremiah.
And that's why this truth is going to be demonized until we're out of here, because that order and correction that we're bringing is too much for the world.
That's
we're,
right.
We're throwing off the way the world has been.
The wicked equilibrium.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what we're doing, we're messing up businesses,
Yeah.
big businesses,
Yeah.
man.
The church is mad right now.
Oh, the church hates us.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come.
Church is
they're
mad.
old news, but they hate us.
This is Jeremiah.
We're pretty much the party people.
Yeah.
We stop the fun. People
Yeah, we
want
stop the fun.
People just, hey, you notice that from school. Fun.
Yes.
What do you do for fun?
Yes.
Yeah,
Fun.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Fun.
When you look up fun, it pretty much means stupid or vain,
Yes.
right? So it's all madness.
Yeah, yeah.
There's time for, like right now, we're about to, chill with the brothers, have
This is
joyful time.
this is fun.
This is righteous fun.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
People
Yeah,
want to live in a world of fun, just fun everywhere.
Yeah.
I get that, right?
Yeah,
Like,
fun
like
land.
they're watching the NBA finals
Yeah.
and all this folly.
Doing drugs,
Yeah.
drinking while they're watching.
Yeah.
Hey, and really and truly, there's two levels to it, because you have the people that go to these clubs, do certain folly. They do that because they're witches and warlocks.
Yep.
Witches and warlocks literally go to these places to get people, slip things in
Yeah,
people's
yes.
drink to do certain
Yes.
things. But then you have the men that go there that are just looking for a wife.
Yes.
But that's because this place is so degenerate.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a damn woman.
You don't even know where you're at. It's like growing up in one of those temples.
It's true.
In Ephesians, in Ephesus. Grew up in a temple in Ephesus where they're doing all kinds of orgy and trying to look for a wife. But
Yeah.
you don't know where you are.
There's no wife.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
place
Ephesus
is
was
for
wicked still.
orgies and
Yeah.
all that. You gotta go find a wife.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. That's
You're finding temple prostitutes.
Exactly. It's calling them your wife.
Hey,
Yeah.
even we're weird because we don't ask women for threesomes. We don't ask, but Don't tell her that you want more than one wife, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
You're mad at me because I don't want threesomes, but because I want more than one
Yeah.
wife, now I'm
Yeah.
demon. I'm a
Yeah.
demon now.
Call
Yeah.
good evil.
Yeah, you're a
evil
weirdo
good.
if you don't like a threesome. Yeah.
Let me read this
You
real
can
quick.
fuck her once. But I want to start a
I want to
whole
walk.
economy.
Yeah.
This place is off, man. Yeah, that's wicked, man.
Let me read this. This is Jeremiah 44 and 15 in the NLT. It says, "Then all the women present, and all the men who knew that their wives had burned incense to idols, a great crowd of all Judeans."
like us too, because in this world we know our people are celebrating Christmas, Halloween, blah blah blah, right? And it's to be honest, there's a lot of times there's nothing we can even do,
No.
right? Especially if you're not with the mother of your
Yeah.
child or whatever.
You just have
Sometimes
to-
it's just
Yo, you
wicked,
just have
man.
to suffer it. You should have to suffer the bullshit. It says, "Great crowd of all the Judeans living in northern Egypt and southern Egypt answered Jeremiah, 'We will not listen to your messages from the Lord, Yahweh. We will do whatever we want.'"
Do as thou wilt. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's a disobedient type of person right there, right?
Yep. Well, it tells you.
This
See,
is
these people don't
yeah,
understand
this
because
is
you
yeah.
have Christians that will say, tons of times, your Christians will say, "Oh, I called on Jesus Christ and I saw all these kind of miracles." Yeah, but there's power on the left hand side.
Yes, there is.
You just don't know that.
Yes, there is. Yep.
Okay. So it says, "We will do whatever we want. We will burn incense and pour out liquid offerings to the Queen of Heaven."
Libation. That's exactly what it is.
For
Yeah,
dead
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Pour some out for that.
Well, it's wild, man. That's wild. That's crazy, man.
It says, "Just as much as we like."
Hey, some people go deep. Eh? Some people, when they eat, they'll fix a plate
Yeah.
For
for
the dead.
spirits.
Oh, yeah.
What about Jaguar White with the ashes?
Exactly.
So what she did with the ashes?
Yeah, that's
Gosh.
true.
And she has a
Some
Baphomet
wicked ass
tattoo on
shit.
her back.
Well, she even said, "Listen, if you guys in the interview, if you really knew what I get into, you'd be terrified." And she like paused in the video.
And she's not
It
joking.
was like black in her. She's not joking. Her eyes are black.
Yeah.
She's like, "If you really knew what I, you would." And she's talking slow. It's just a demon.
Yeah.
These guys are they're witches and they're open about
But
it.
that's why all these top people that get busted from time and time again,
Yeah.
they only stop at, oh, he was a drug addict, he went to
Yeah.
wild parties.
Yeah,
They can't go past the threshold.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
drugs are always there. The drinking and alcohol
True.
have always been part of the orgies.
It's
Yes.
true.
You know,
It's true.
Pan,
Yep.
Bacchus, Bacchanalia, all
Yes.
these different things. The
Yes.
sex, the parties, but
Yeah.
what they actually do in the rituals,
Yeah. Yeah.
what the demons actually require,
Yes.
they can't break that threshold yet.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
yeah.
meant for people yet.
Yeah.
Hey, and that's why a lot of these artists, they have to take drugs
Yeah.
because of what they've been through.
Yeah. They can.
They've been through trauma,
Meek
man.
Mill.
Yeah.
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 That
100%. Well,
that
remember,
sounds constant.
we were talking about earlier before the camera came on. So these people, how they can't sit in silence.
Right.
They need
Yeah.
distractions.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
need vices.
That's
They
why
can't sit
Yeah, I
in
they
know.
need to be
silence.
around people.
Yeah.
They always need
Yeah.
to be around a party.
Yeah.
They need the
Remember,
noise. They need
yeah,
to
the distract.
Yeah,
But you can't run from the truth.
Right.
You can't, and demons always chasing you.
Right.
That's
They
why.
like to
That's why
torment
if
you.
someone insults you back in the day, they'd be like, "Honey, look yourself in the mirror."
Yeah.
Ah,
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
Hey,
Yeah.
but that's why they call it drug abuse. You abuse the drug.
Yep.
You abuse the alcohol. You abuse it to where you literally you black out drunk
Yeah.
every night.
And you're the one being abused.
And you're the one
You're being abused.
Yeah.
It says, we will do whatever we want. We will burn incense and pour out liquid offerings to the Queen of Heaven, just as much as we like, just as we and our ancestors and our kings and officials have always done. So you know these Israelites that are in the entertainment world, the top Israelites, they know about the history of these wicked kings, like got power from the left hand side of Israel. You know, they're in the same spirit.
Look at Diddy. Like he's a big example right now.
Yeah, did he?
But when you get into Freemasonry, one of the number one books you gotta read is the Bible.
Yes.
Top
Yeah, you're
Freemasons
right.
are really skilled with the Bible.
Yeah. Solomon, the worship of Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
It says, and when he was in his folly,
Come on.
It says, just as our ancestors and our kings and our officials have always done in the towns of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, for in those days, hey, and some of these kings of Israel, some of them are top teachers in Israel right now.
Yes, they are. Exactly.
That's why they have a huge following. Like
Yes.
Nate and some of these guys,
Yes.
they're like these wicked kings that did all that wicked stuff.
It's all spiritual.
Yeah.
You're right.
So it says, ways done, have always done in the towns of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, for in those days we had plenty to eat, and we were well off.
So Jacob was living fat, man. They're living good, but they were into idolatry.
Well, that's why they're saying it too. They give the glory unto their gods.
Yeah.
That's why when they go up on stage and they're thanking God, they're not thanking the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Yes.
Right?
See, on the
God
right
of
hand
this
side,
world.
on the right hand side, Slack, on the right hand side, you have to wait if you're doing things right. It takes time. But on the left hand side, it's instant gratification. So these guys, they're into that wicked stuff on the left hand side. It gives you instant gratification, but you're not thinking about the consequences for it. You're caught up in the moment. You're not thinking about when the Lord comes and judges you.
And it's like
I
this
don't know. I
top
kind of see. Sorry to interrupt
No,
you,
go
but you see that with Kanye. He came out and he made a song about it, saying I sold my soul to the devil.
Yeah, he did.
He said it was a happy meal, but it's a shitty deal in the end.
Exactly.
So like I think they understand the consequences, repercussions, because you have to know. In order for you to go into that realm, you got to know the scriptures, you got to know the left hand, and you got to kind of dabble into the right hand and know what's what. So I think they do know.
That's
You're right.
like
They're just
DMX.
blinded. You're right. They're just blinded.
I think they're just greedy,
It's like-
you know.
it's like-
Well, the reason why I say they're blinded.
They get sucked. They get blunt. They get blunt full of experience of things they never experienced.
Is that
Hey,
Okay.
you're meeting in this side of the world. We got a plane for you waiting.
exactly?
The limousine to pick you up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get into the plane, there's bitches there. You know,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
Esau has his gifts, his
Yeah,
little
yeah.
gifts
Of
that
course.
destroy your mind
Yeah.
quickly.
Slowly, yeah.
You know, and then he'll make you feel things that you know, like, oh, I never thought this is possible.
Mhm.
You know, I'm part of a brand. I got sponsorships. I have a following. You know, like all these different things where you're just like, bro, how can I go back?
Exactly.
To the corner? How am I going back here?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you why it's not greed. It's greed to a certain extent because those people, they lust for fame, so it's greed in a way. But it's the demons that they're entertaining that they have to appease.
Oh, they have to serve them.
They're
Yeah.
appeasing an entity
Okay.
that's greater than them.
Yeah.
And you cannot ever appease the demon. He
No.
always wants more.
Yeah.
More.
He said that.
Yeah, that's true.
And he wants it, and
Sure.
also they want your blood.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's why they
sacrifice.
do the blood sacrifice.
Yeah.
In the street.
Well, that's when you're in it.
Yeah.
That's when
Life
you're in it.
force.
So like I was saying, when you
They have to
mentioned
travel.
earlier about the God, they know which God they're dealing with already. They know it's Baphomet on the left hand side.
That's
they
right.
pray to that God. Even though you see them say, "Oh my God, I thank for this trophy that you got." It's not our God that we're praising.
That's
God.
Right? They know which God they're serving, and they'll throw up their signs, you know.
That's
their
right,
Baphomet
exactly.
sign or their little secret thing to the crowd.
horns and all
that's
this stuff.
showing the real Illuminati who's there. Not really Illuminati. What am I saying? Because they're not enlightened. They're in on the dark hand side, on the left hand side, and they're in the dark.
Hmm.
So, but you know that
Yeah.
world, you know, and they only know their secret codes, what they're throwing out, because it's fooling the masses, right?
It's a
They're just
secret
throwing-
society,
Yeah,
right?
they're throwing the hex on the crowd,
Well,
and
we-
then they're
Yeah.
praising their own God.
Yeah. Well, we read it earlier in Wisdom Song 5 where at the end, they realized the ways that they took was dry lands,
Mhm.
like into a place without no water, because
Mhm.
Esau's using you.
Mhm.
You're never gonna get in with Esau Edom.
Mm.
You're never gonna get in because they hang out with these Edomites. They see what they have, and you don't want to be in that club. Once you have 10 million, you want to
Yeah.
be
They
50 million, 100 million, whatever, blah blah blah. But Esau's never gonna let you in.
Mhm.
No.
You know.
And they have to do all kinds of things. Nasty shit.
You know.
And then they, you know?
They showed that Jake can leave the world behind, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't really in. He was, you know, he was rubbing shoulders with Edomites, but he didn't get that call.
Yeah.
And like that's why a lot of the one hit wonders, like you wonder why like why they never really excelled, because they didn't want to indulge in certain activities, man.
That's right.
So it says here, for in those days we had plenty to eat, and we were well off and had no troubles. It says, but ever since, this is what you were talking about, going back to the corners, that mentality. But ever since we quit burning incense to the Queen of Heaven and stopped worshiping her with liquid offerings, we have been in great trouble and have been dying from war and famine. It's because you don't believe. So it's not like you're stopping your wickedness because you sincerely want to do right. You're just stopping it because you're hoping to get something like a trinket on the right. Like you think you can fool the Most High.
Hey, and
You know what I mean?
and you're forgetting that you have to be spanked first, right? You can't just do
Yeah.
all that wickedness and then say, "Oh, I'm just serving the Lord now. Where's my blessings?"
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, that's why Esau sold his birthright.
Yep.
Esau sold his birthright because he's just like, "What the heck is that going to do for me right now?"
Exactly.
I'm hungry.
Instant gratification. It says, verse 18, but ever since,
That's why Job's wife said, "Curse Most High and die,"
Yeah.
because they don't see the power. All they see is the suffering, man. But the suffering is power. We're really and truly. That's why I always tell a lot of people, this
Your
truth is
battery
not
is
for
at
everybody.
20%.
This truth is not for everybody because we are literally supposed to sacrifice our lives.
Yeah.
That's what this is. This is a sacrifice. We're not here to be glorious.
Yeah.
We're here because we've made up our minds that whatever the Lord wants to do with us, we accept.
Because it's easy to go back into the world, but to stay on the path, the crooked path, on the the straight and narrow path, it's the best thing. Even though it sucks, but like we have a job to do.
Well, you know what? It takes faith because
Yeah.
honestly, you're gonna you're gonna suffer and whatnot. But your spirit, you should be able to envision the kingdom of heaven.
That's the balance.
Yes.
He gave the flesh,
Right.
he gave the spirit.
Right,
But
right.
for the flesh, it sucks.
Exactly.
It sucks terribly.
Exactly.
Your flesh is like, what the fuck's going on?
But it's a
We're
purge.
supposed to be living.
But it's a purging.
Yeah, it is. It's like a purge, like
It's a
every
purging.
year.
This
Yeah.
this is us. This is our spiritual death.
Just like the Day of
YAHAWASHI.
Atonement. The Day of Atonement.
That's right.
Your flesh is like, what are you doing?
Yeah, God.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
I need some water,
Yeah,
man.
exactly. Yep.
Just
It's-
to add
yeah.
on to that stuff, because
Okay,
basically
okay.
we spent all our lives, like past lives, sinning against the Most High.
Yeah.
The Most High awakes you to this truth. He wants your vessel to bring out this truth. All that time, you know what I mean? Like this is what we got to do now, man. We had all the previous lives to sin and do whatever.
We had our
You
fun.
can just say we had our fun.
Come
Yeah,
on.
we
Now that
did.
we know
Yeah.
what we know,
Yeah,
this is it.
Baruch 3 and 10.
Right.
Someone can get that real quick. Baruch 3 and 10. That's
So,
what, exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
That's Baruch 3 and 10. We're supposed to go 10 times harder.
4 and 10.
Right.
4 and 10.
4 and 10.
Yeah, 4 and 10.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 and 10. Yep. Now that you've been brought back. Yep.
You know, because like the brother said, past lifetimes, you were just an ignorant animal. you
Right,
know,
yeah.
Going after your own nature.
Yeah.
You know, worshiping whoever. You might have been a Muslim in one lifetime.
Exactly.
You might have been a Buddhist in
Exactly.
another lifetime. You
Exactly.
might have been a Satanist in another lifetime.
Exactly.
We don't know.
You know?
Four and ten?
Yeah. Oh, 4 and 28. 4 and 28. 28.
This is Luke 4
28.
20. I'll start at 27. Take courage, my children, and cry to Yahweh, for you will be remembered by the one who brought this upon you.
Yeah.
For just as you were disposed to go astray from Yahweh,
That's right.
return with tenfold zeal to seek Him.
Does GNT?
This is KJV, I believe.
No, it's not.
Oh, New Revised. Sorry,
Yeah,
New Revised
yeah.
version.
What's that? Yeah.
10 times
New
zeal.
Revised,
Yeah.
Slakia.
That's good.
Yeah.
That was the spirit, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
spirit
I-
times zeal. Yeah, keep going.
I can go KJV now.
No, leave it.
Just reiterate it. It
Yeah.
says, "For just as you were disposed to go astray from Yahweh, return with tenfold zeal to seek Him."
That's right.
Pretty
Yeah,
close,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Come back with that heat, man.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So this is it. This is it right now,
This
brother.
is
You
it.
feel me? Like,
Yeah.
this is what it is.
This is like, this is
You know?
Yeah,
We already,
this is our microcosm of Yahawashi.
right.
We gotta go through what he
Right.
went through.
Yes.
Because the people in the world right now, they already were partying and bullshit. We already did that in our past lives.
Yeah.
And
In this
you know what I
one
mean?
too.
And this life too. Right? So now it's time for us to buckle up, gear down and
You're down.
just
And
Lock in.
That's right. And we're part of a legacy, man.
Right.
Like when you really think about what we're doing now, we've done it in our past life.
Right.
That period of
Didn't sleep.
yeah,
Get
where
down
they
on
fell
it.
asleep.
You know, the
Right,
seven
that
fathers
is-
of
oh,
these
yeah, fell
different
asleep.
times,
That period,
bro. Yeah.
we were going crazy
Right.
because we didn't even know we were Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
Calling us Jacobites, all kind of different names, medieval
Anglo-Saxon.
era.
No, some of us
Vikings.
were. Some of us were. Yeah, Jews who knew that they're Jews.
You know what I mean? Like when we fully fell asleep,
Yeah.
because that's the prophecy. We fully fell asleep.
Right. Right.
We
Right.
didn't
We
have
had
100%.
to. Every last one of us.
Yeah.
But my point is that we're bought now. You have to think about we're part of a huge legacy, so it's way bigger than us.
Yeah.
That's why Romans 12:1 says this is your reasonable service.
And we have to understand that Yahawashi sacrificed a lifetime, so we could do that as well. Once, because now we understand reincarnation. So why would I care about this lifetime? I don't give a fuck. This is my lifetime to sacrifice.
Exactly.
I don't care.
Exactly.
We're gonna be in rulership for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, living
So why do I care about right now?
The scriptures tell you for a light affliction.
It's a light affliction.
Yeah, cannot be compared to what we're going to be given.
Shit, we gotta rule for 1,000 years with Esau. Then we're gonna rule without Esau. It's just gonna be more blessings on top of blessings.
No eyes have seen,
Remember?
or ears have heard what the Lord has
I can't see,
in store.
but it's
for them.
very low.
Okay, the camera's low.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me just say this real quick. See, Esau, he can't rule without us, but we're gonna be able to rule without him.
Yeah, of course, exactly.
You see? That's why this kingdom is going
That's
down.
how you know
Man.
he's base.
Right
Yeah,
now,
son of
yeah,
perdition.
like
He
yeah,
couldn't rule
because-
without us.
Yeah,
Nobody, none of them could.
None of them. Exactly.
Not one of them.
Exactly.
Not one of them could.
Because all those heathen kingdoms, we made it great.
Yes, every single one of them.
That's it.
Every single
It's
one.
like
Esau's a
Oh, shit, we got bigger precepts.
it's
Yeah.
like darkness without light. Right?
You people are nothing without us,
Yeah,
man.
they're nothing without us.
Okay?
Exactly.
That's right.
All right.
And now that they're done with us and they have their AI, now they want to get rid of us.
Yeah. Sure, okay.
I'm taking their AI.
It says Iran
Yeah,
raised
because
missiles
remember,
on
the
Israel.
VO is they're using our likened image or whatever, and now the VO is making the AI videos, talking like Jake and acting like Jake and making these video clips. But it's because they harvest our energy basically. Going back to what we were already talking about. You know what I mean? They know how we talk, they know how we dress, whatever. The AI is making sure we're wearing what Jake wears, so to speak. And
With the AI,
how Jake
what they
talks.
did is
You want to be the sons of
they
God.
they harvested brain tissue in a thing to create the AI.
Wow.
They harvest
From a Jake body kind of thing, like
I
a
don't know,
molecule,
but
like
I know
a
they did it
DNA.
with brain tissue.
Yeah,
So what they
might have been from Jake,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
The God particle, we have it in us, right? Like we have YAHAWASHI in us.
All right, last precept. We're going to close up.
I got one real quick.
Bring it up.
Yes, real quick, because what came out was powerful in regards to, hey, we just talked about the legacy. That's the hope of the elect.
Right.
Well, the Lord promised the elect that He's going to give them that legacy. So I'm going to read because it came out earlier on. Brother Al brought it out in regards to you people are going to know. 2/3 of our people are going to know when judgment hits them. Right. So it says this is Jeremiah. Jeremiah, 8:20. Just going to read one. You people can read the whole chapter. That's going into the daughter of Zion. Did it come up before?
No, just read
Go
it.
ahead.
Right. Okay. It says the harvest is past, the summer. See, I hate when this thing is in front of you, thing you can't get to read the words. The harvest is past, the summer. There we go. The harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. That's what 2/3 of our people are going to say, right? Right? Because you're going to reject what is being said here. The elect won't reject it, right? So they are going to know. You're going to find out, and you're going to say, yeah, those are the men. Those are the men that the Lord has set up. We rejected the one, YAHAWASHI, okay? And this was set up for you guys to reject it. Right? But it's plain, that's what I'm saying. So the blood is off of our hands. But yeah, they're going to know.
Yep.
They're going to know that they're lost.
That's right. Yep.
That's all I got.
Beautiful, man. So we're going to close up.
Any other precepts? All right.
That's pretty much it.
That's it, man.
So like, yeah.
So we're going to close up. Alright, Lord willing, this lesson was straightforward and edifying to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, where you give all praises and honor and glory to you.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, HaKadosh.
Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and have taught us word in truth and sincerity. Peace and mercy to hopeful elect, starting with the 124,000 that's pushing this word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. And the rest of you like to sincerely believe. Alright, Abba Ball.
Abba Ball.
Inshallah.
Kwame Inshallah.
Shalom to the
Shalom.
What do I do?
Um,
Because this is a
yeah.